Today, I asked Courtney Dampman, if anybody doesn't know Courtney, to join us because Courtney has been in business for about 7 months now, and she is rocking it. So I just wanted her to share what she's doing. You may see a little theme with what I'm trying to do between now and the end of the year. It's to get you guys in the right mindset for 2022. I want everybody in here to have a kick-ass 2022. And so let's get organized. Let's talk to the people that are walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And take it away, Courtney.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks Barb for having me today, and thank you everybody for coming in to listen. My license will be about 8 months old and at the end of this month, so it's really exciting. But before that, just a little about me. I worked in hospitality for about 16 years. I started out in restaurants and then moved my way into hotel sales, and then my last job I was working in Center City prior to COVID. Got laid off, and then my hotel ended up closing, unfortunately, with the pandemic. Me and Becca go kind of way back. But yeah, so that whole time, I mean, I didn't like being home. I'm somebody that loves working. So I applied for probably like 50 jobs. I only heard back from one, and I got to the third interview, and then they picked the other candidates. So after that, I was like, I need to figure something out. And I had been saying for a few years, because a girlfriend of mine works in Untitled, I was like, man, I should have been a real estate agent. I really feel like that's something I would be really great at. I just, I love working with people. I feel like I would, just love that. So Sam actually posted something on social media about, how we tend to share, anybody interested in a career in real estate, let me know. And I messaged her and was like, actually, yeah, you know what, I think I am. And she talked me through it, kind of gave me the whole rundown, and then we ended up going to have lunch, and I ended up getting my license and met with Anne Marie. I really liked the vibe here at Keller, so signed on. And then before I even got my license, honestly, I made this like, I can't fail at this. Like, I actually ended up getting a job offer from another hotel after I had told Sam that I was going to basically join her team, and told Anne Marie I was going to be a full-time agent, and I like kind of made that commitment. And commitment's really important to me. So, after that, I told that person, like, I really appreciate that. I'm taking a huge gamble, but I'm just gonna go for it. And they were kind of like told me I was nuts, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fail. I'm gonna wake up every day, and if there's a problem, I'm gonna find a solution. That's just kind of like how I've gone into everything. So, yeah. I mean, at first, honestly, it was so hard. You're doing all this stuff and you're not making any money, and you're just kind of like, what am I doing all of this for? Like, you feel like you're honestly just working for free, and it's kind of terrifying. So I just made sure, like, in the very beginning, that I was taking as much of like the classes that we have to, like, Keller Williams has to offer, like, not even just in here, like the Marty Miller challenge. Like, I was going through that checklist you get when you first get hired to try to like get all, like, get my business like started as much as I possibly can, tracking expenses. I mean, a lot of that from like management experience prior, like I kind of like took that experience with me and brought it into this, but tracking expenses, like, just trying to remember that this isn't just a job, it's like my business, it's my baby. So, yeah, I really just made it, kind of wake up every day, like, I don't have any option to fail. This is it, not changing my career again, so it was a big, huge, change for me, but I'm so glad I did it. So yeah, so.
Can I interrupt, just ask a question? So in the beginning, when you were taking the different classes, not, as you said, not just for the Market Center, but doing Marty Miller Challenge, things that KWRI might offer.
Yeah.
How did you structure your day? Were you putting in roughly a 40-hour week with everything, or were you just sort of, and I think I already know the answer to this because you're doing so well, just like, I'll do it if I feel like it.
I definitely was putting in a 40-hour week, and then anything that Sam was like, do you want to shadow me with this? Do you want to come follow me do that? I was like, yep. Like any opportunity that I had to like learn anything at all, I was really doing it, because even today I still feel like you're never going to know everything, but I almost feel like sometimes like I don't know anything, so but you don't realize, you surprise yourself when you have these conversations with people about how much you actually do know. So yeah, any opportunity you have to learn something. Like Hussein asked me to come on a listing appointment, so he's gonna come with me on that, you know, which I thought was awesome. And I'm just like floored when he asked me, because I mean, I think he feels comfortable with me, but just the fact that anybody even asked me, I was like, wow, that's amazing. So, but yeah, any opportunity I had to train. So, and then also, I mean, I'm kind of an over the top person, which is funny because like I said, I'm so nervous right now. But I wanted to make sure, like, my number one goal every day at the end of the day is that everybody knows what I do. And I want them to not also, like, I want them to know what I do, but I also want them to, like, see my marketing and think it's fun and creative and, you know, that kind of stuff. So social media is my, like, obviously number one, which I think I've said a bunch of times to a bunch of you. But in the very beginning, my husband's also a photographer, but I was like, I want like a very extra photo shoot of me when I get my license to make this announcement. So I like bought a graduation cab and like he took a bunch of pictures of me in front of Media Courthouse, like throwing it in the air, you know. But I wanted it to be memorable because I feel like just something from my previous sales experience, you know, you want to be memorable. What is gonna make you memorable? I once watched a salesperson talk at a hotel conference, and he had on this like crazy bow tie. He's like, people are gonna remember this. Like, people are probably looking at me like, why are you wearing that? But people will remember it. And you know, my first pictures, I'm like, I'm gonna wear red lipstick because I feel like that's just gonna be like, it might not be like super neutral makeup, but I like something little like that. Like it might be more memorable to people, you know. So things like that. So try to set yourself apart in whatever way you can. So then in the very beginning, I wanted to make sure. Everyone's going to probably establish some sort of a farm area. How you market your farm is probably not going to be the same as somebody else, but I walked through, when I first started marketing my farm, I walked around, it was like really in the height of COVID. So I had a girlfriend, like I was like, any day it was nice. A good friend of mine came with me. We covered a huge area and handed out a bunch of flyers that were, I tried to make them not very much salesy, just more so like I'm here to try to establish myself as a resource for anything real estate related in this community. I love living here, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, I'm trying to make a name for myself in that area. And then, so that was just something I did. Also, I mailed my business cards to who I consider to be like my top 20 in my sphere. Asked them to hand them out to anybody that they know that might be interested to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And then also ask them to share them on social media and kind of just be like, my girlfriend's in real estate, you know. So keep her in mind, and a lot of them did, which is super nice. You never realize how much people actually support you until you start a new venture like this, which is great. So try to take advantage of that. So right from there, I had 2 people, like with all of that, reach out to me and ask me to list their houses and help them buy a new one. So when I got those 2 different couples that wanted me to help them, I marketed that like business, like that part of my business as much as I possibly could, with videos, Facebook Live, like different command ads, paid command ads, in different groups. Like you can share your posts on Facebook into different Delaware County community groups or real estate groups that people follow. So just anything I could do to get my name out there, and you know, they were my listings, so I could advertise them as much as I wanted, you know. So I thought that was really important. And then once people see that you're already like, it's kind of scary for somebody maybe to be your first client. I mean, from there you obviously, you know, a lot of times they know you and love you, which these people did. But you know, once other people start to see that you have any kind of business, even if you just advertise somebody else's listing, you know, they don't know that they're not your listings. I mean, even I'll put at the bottom, like, listing presented by so-and-so, and still people will still ask me, like, was that your listing? And I'm like, actually, no, but, you know, it's my office's listing, and let me know if you're interested. So I feel like that's super important. I know Donna Baldino did her class in here. She said, advertise listings all the time, and because people want to look at those. So, and I think that is super important. You do get a lot of, like, people will like it or share it and stuff, like, or tag a friend or something like that, which I think is important. Okay, so then I know in the Millionaire Real Estate book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, he says to lead with revenue. So I tried in the beginning to make sure that I wasn't spending too much money on marketing and stuff like that. I was trying to make some money first before I really started to spend money on marketing. So that's another reason why social media to me was great, because it's free most of the time. I mean, unless you're doing like a paid social media ad, it's free. So The difference is, are you going to be consistent with it, you know? So with me, I try to, most of the time, schedule my posts in advance so that they're, you know, they're already, like, it's kind of working itself, you know? And then I just make sure when somebody comments, you engage. Does anybody know why you want to make sure that you engage or, like, somebody comments? Just
It helps the algorithm, right?
yeah, so it'll pop back up. So it'll keep popping up. So if somebody comments and then you comment back, like the more, like whenever somebody comments on it or you comment, it's going to pop back up and it helps it show up on more people's feed. Also, if you like people's posts, you're going to more often probably show up on their feed. So those kinds of little tricks, social media tricks. But yeah, so that's why I really focused on social media. Once I started to get listings and then sold them, I know Sam does this too. We do 50freepostcards.com, so you can circle prospect, which everybody probably knows what that is. And Sam got a listing from that. But think about that. That costs maybe $80 if you do that. Like after you sell a listing and you circle prospect, it costs about $80 to send out those postcards. If you do that 2, 3, 4 times and you even just get one listing, it's thousands of dollars from that. So it pays itself off, you know. Even with the command ads, when I do a command ad, I try to, I've seen more potential to convert a lead from a command ad when I actually pick up the phone and call it when it comes in, when the lead comes in. So as opposed to just setting them up, like you can have it so it automatically sets up on a smart plan, but then it's like, nothing bad about it, but it shoots people a text and sends them an email, but they're not actually talking to a human being. But if you call them like very shortly after they actually their information in, they're going to remember what they just did and why they're getting the phone call. And you know, then you can actually have the opportunity to get them on the phone. And I've had the ability to actually have conversations with people about real estate that way, as opposed to, I don't really have much luck when I do the smart plan immediately, but that's just me. I feel like getting people on the phone is really important. So another thing too with social media or with any kind of marketing that you do, I mean, this is up to you. Command has all those free ads that you can just put your information in or whatever, but I started to try to use the same fonts and colors for mine because I'm trying to make it a brand. So when somebody sees something pop up that's mine, they might be able to already tell because they recognize it. And now a lot of times I'll put my photo on there too, like in your face, you know, but in the beginning I was kind of just like using all different stuff, but now trying to, again, be consistent, I'll try to use like the same fonts and stuff, but honestly I'll use like the same couple of ads and just make a copy and then just change the content, and that way it doesn't take that long, you know, because time is money, right? But yeah, so social media is my thing. I think in any like type of conversation you have with somebody about real estate, you know, you just want to try to be relatable, positive, knowledgeable, but also like if you don't know the answer, that's okay. Make sure you tell them, like, if I don't know something, I'm going to find it out for you. You know, you're going to be a resource for them, no matter, you you work with a great team of agents that are, you know, we were best of Delco, you can throw that in there, you know, that kind of thing. So just tell people, you know, sell yourself, because you're all unique, and I mean, everyone's unique and everybody has something to bring to the table. So I try to make sure, like, my number one goal, I think I might have already said this, but I have like 1,600 or 1,700 friends on social media. I want to remind them that I'm in real estate. It's a lot of people that I can reach very quickly, unless they've unfollowed me, which is very possible. But yeah, so I can't tell you how many times I'll just see somebody I haven't seen in a while. They're like, "You're killing it with real estate," and I'm like, "Hey, thanks so much." Like, you know, and it's because they've seen my stuff, so that's awesome. So people know, right? That's the goal. I also try to join like local community groups, like on social media, or even in my gym. Like, that's another group that I'm already involved in, that I'm constantly in conversations with people there about real estate. And think about the social groups or any other groups you guys are involved in, whether it's a hobby or a kids team or something like that. You know, hey, how are you? How's work? They might ask you how work is. You know, it's like those 3 questions that you're supposed to ask. How's your family? How's work? And then they automatically bring up, well, I'm in real estate now and I'm loving it. It's great, you know. So, but yeah, people are I'm always trying to have conversations with people about real estate, but like slide it in there, not like you know, hey, you know, anybody that's looking about, you know, except for social media. You guys know what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's definitely the number one goal. Just keep reminding people and be consistent with it. When I've joined a lot of like there's like a Delco community group, Delaware County Real Estate, coming soon, listings, Delaware County, like different groups on social media, or just even like Briarcliff community, Westford Park or Clifton Heights community groups on social media. And if you see people on there talking about, oh, this is something that I do, so like they're small business, because you guys probably, if you follow me on social media, every Saturday I feature a small business, and I'll message them and be like, this is really great, like what you're doing. I'm actually a real estate agent. I do small business Saturday features. I'd love to feature your page, and it doesn't cost you anything. And but then they just are like, oh wow, that's like, she's so nice, which I loved. I do love promoting small business. I think especially with post-pandemic, I just feel like it's just really important for us to help these small businesses. But yeah, I mean, you're getting your name out there, you're getting your brand out there, So again, just reminding people you're in real estate. A lot of times too, I'm sure this has happened to you guys, somebody will see a post where someone's looking for an agent and they'll tag you. Try to get that person on the phone right away, because they're going to get a lot of messages in their DMs. They're going to get a lot of friend requests, but they might not get a phone call or somebody that wants to try to get them on the phone. So I've had a lot of success that way. I got a listing from that in Clifton Heights. So and I was like, I live in Clifton, I work in Clifton, and I got the lady on the phone and she gave me her listing. So just try to set yourself apart. Let me see. For if you guys are kind of feeling like you don't have like very many ideas of how to market, I follow a lot of other agents on social media. You don't have to feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. Steal my stuff if you like it. I don't care. But don't spend too much time trying to be like, oh my goodness, I don't have any idea what I'm going to post today. I mean, there's a good one on Instagram. I don't know if they're on Facebook. It's called Keeping Current Matters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they always have, and you can just literally share their post on your story, and it just makes you look like it makes you look like you're actively always trying to learn yourself, but then also sharing with other people, this great knowledge, right? So, definitely follow other agents that you like their social media, or, that whatever advertising or that stuff that they're doing, like even if you get something in the mail from another agent, have you guys ever gotten?
Yes.
Yeah, I save them, and I'm like, if I like it, I'm like, this is cute, like I might come back to this, Like I got a football magnet from an agent one time, and people love that stuff. So it's kind of expensive, but again, once you get some things under contract and go to settlement and have some money, you can budget and make more money for those kinds of things. Also, if you guys don't have professional photos, I would recommend you get them. I think that it makes you look very professional, and I don't think, does Brian do them here?
He will, yeah.
Yeah.
You can set up an appointment. I mean, he just did one, I think it was maybe, I want to say like 2 months ago. I don't know if anybody in here.
Something like that.
Photos,
I did.
but he had a photo day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're not that much, and I think it's really worth it that people can see your face and recognize you. I mean, my husband's a photographer, and I totally torture him, and I make him do all these stupid photo shoots. But you know what I mean? I'm always like, all right, let's go over here now. Let's go over here now. He thinks I'm nuts, but he puts up with me, so it is what it is. But yeah, I think that's great. It's great to add to your marketing, and you'll become more recognizable to people. So I would recommend that you do that. Open houses. So in the very beginning, I did 2 open houses, and they were terrible. They were both flops, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. It's such a waste of my time. I'm here on a Sunday. Nobody's even coming out. And then I remember Barb's voice in my head saying, like, open houses is like the #1 way that I get business. I'm like, how is she doing it? I don't know. There's nobody here. So I was like, all right. I
Drag them off the street.
Yeah. I'm like, how is she doing this? So I'm like, all right, let me keep trying this. And I'll tell you, I had one open house for this one listing that it was a cute house, but I just didn't think that it was going to be like such like an amazing turnout. It was busy the entire time. I got 4 listing leads from this open house and listed 2 houses on the same street from that open house. So it was, and there was a lot of buyer leads I walked into without agents. So, I mean, you might do like 5 or 6 before you get to one where you have a great turnout. But then when you do, I mean, that's amazing, right? And when you're there, you want to make sure that you have the seller's disclosure printed out, that you have, your little flyers that you can get to them that has your stuff on it. I mean, if the agent has their own stuff, you can just tuck that away and put it back out.
Absolutely.
Put yours out while you're there. but make sure every single person that has coming in, that you're having a genuine conversation with them, that they are kind of sold on you, because you don't know where that's gonna go. I mean, like the one day, I mean, and you're gonna have days where you feel like you're really on and you're really off, but that particular day, for some reason, I felt like I was like really on, and this one lady was like, oh, you're so nice. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. You know, so it's like, you want them to really like, just be able to be somebody that's engaging, that like when they come in, they feel super important, and that it's about them. It's all about them.
You want to build rapport.
Yeah,
That's the key.
that's the
You
word.
just want to build
Yeah.
rapport, and you have a very finite window to do it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so even with like, you know, everybody that you have a conversation with real estate about, the rapport is so important. So, and that might, the rapport with one person might be a little different, obviously, you know, with different personalities. So, kind of have to read people a little bit too. But yeah, do whatever you can to make that successful. The open houses, you know, if you want to do, I mean, obviously you should do directionals. If you want to map out that area the day before, I honestly use, like, I'll look at Google Maps or Waze, and I can see how many turns it is, and that way you kind of know how many riders you need. Balloons are great to put out front, or even on, if you want to put them on the directionals too, so that way they really stand out. I haven't gotten a directional stolen yet, but I mean, I'm sure it's going to happen soon. Yeah. I mean, from like the township or somebody, like nobody's taken mine yet. And I had one on like Sproul Road the one day, and
Oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah, and it was like, I had to like run up the street in heels to even get it there. But I'm like, this is definitely going to get taken. Like, I didn't, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so when you have your sign-in sheet, make sure that if everybody that you doesn't have an agent, that you follow up with them. It was so great to meet you. You can mail them something. If they put their address down, you can mail them a handwritten note. And then I haven't done this yet, but I've started planning. After that one that I had, I need to start doing that, where I got the listings. You figure out there's a lot of nosy neighbors that come in, knock on the doors, and invite the neighbors to see it. You know, because they might just want to come in and check it out, and maybe they're thinking about listing their house, and they're like, oh, how much is this listed for? And in their head, they're like, oh, I can probably get this for my house, you know? So it's important.
Courtney, have you ever done the, let's say you're doing an open house from, let's say, 1 to 3, but when you ever go around to invite the neighbors, say, I'm having a special hour just for the neighbors from 12 to 1?
No, that's a great idea. Yeah, is that what you do, Barb? Yeah, see, should I ask her? What's your secret?
Court, do you usually go out the day before or the same day?
The same day.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't actually knocked on the doors yet. That's what I'm saying. I need to start doing that, like in future opens, because I really learned. I didn't realize that you could actually. I don't know how I didn't realize it. How many you could actually get listings from those.
Oh, yeah.
So then that's what you want. You want to get the listings. You want to advertise the listings, and then from there you'll attract buyers. I can't tell you, like, when I got a listing and I started advertising it, how many buyer leads I got from that. It's like, so they all come in at once, and you feel so busy with your listing, especially as a new person, and then you have all these buyer leads come in, and you're kind of like, I can't, you know, for a second you're like, I can't handle this, this is great, you know. But that's what you do. I mean, you can advertise my listings whenever you want. You have my permission. I mean, you can ask me again if you want, but I'm telling you, have my permission. But yeah, so what else? Yeah, so just make sure that those open houses, you just prepare for them and make your personality shine, and doing the following up is important. If you're not following up, somebody else is. All right, so lead generation, I kind of told you guys for the most part where I get most of my leads just throughout this entire time talking, but my sphere is very important. Most of the people, I mean, probably about 80% of the people I've worked with so far are people that I know somehow from some walk of life, or somebody in my sphere referred to me. Again, obviously social media, I definitely nailed that one in. Open houses, and then paid ads on Facebook. That's really where I get the majority of my leads. And then I have done some door-to-door marketing, but haven't done enough consistency with it to see any results, to be honest with you. So I at least try to keep one thing consistent, which is social media. It's the simplest thing for me, and it's something I feel like I'm really good at, but I do want to nail that. I feel like that's working, and I kind of have that down. Add in other avenues of lead generation that I can actually stick with, so, and be consistent, because otherwise it's just kind of you're even if you're just printing out things here and you're walking around with them, it still costs you money to do that. You want to see results. So so kind of just daily activities I do. I always try to wake up and have like my little morning ritual and like personally, and then I sit down and I try to write down what I want to get done for the day, you know, that I need to accomplish. I also try to check inventory in the MLS in the morning. You need to know inventory, and you need, especially if you're working with buyers, it's super important that you are on top of that. But even just for general knowledge with selling in the area and with how many price reductions there have been and that kind of thing is super important. You need to know that. Make sure that I have something posted if I haven't already scheduled it yet. And then I do try to, if I do post something, have conversations with people through those posts. So I'm talking to people and through that kind of doing some lead generating. Also, when I do have the lead come in, I follow up with them a certain amount of times before I, you know, just kind of put them on a smart plan and let them, you know, linger out there. But I do try to follow up with them in the beginning kind of aggressively, so I'll make sure I'm doing that. And then any administrative tasks that I might have to do, you know, with stuff that I already am working on. My Google Calendar, it's so, I feel like, I was saying this to Sam earlier, I'm like, I feel like I'm trying so hard to stay organized, it's really tough. But the one thing I do think is important is I have my Google Calendar for work and life all in one, because I just think it all kind of meshes together at this point. Like I almost schedule my social stuff for my own personal, with my friends and family first a lot of the times, and work around it. But you know, it doesn't always work out perfectly like that, but I want to make sure I'm fitting that stuff in there too.
Well, that's one of your big rocks too.
Yeah.
We're not all work.
Right.
And, you know, Gary Keller, you know, I think Anne Marie has said many times, you know, when Gary starts his plan for the next year, first thing he does is puts in his vacations.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to forget that side of our life, and
Right.
we can't. So.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what too, I can't tell you how many hours I was working those first, 6, I don't have any kids, but you know, at first, how many, 8 months now about, those first 6 months I've never worked so many hours in my life. I know that sounds like not desirable, but I know that it would pay off. I knew it would pay off for me, and I just needed to get my business off the ground quickly because I really needed the money. I mean, obviously, you know, we all have our big why. My big why isn't necessarily money, but we all need that, right? So we're working. So I was like, I really need to make money really fast if I'm not going back to the hotel industry, and I can't fail. And I just put so much pressure on myself, but I mean, it's not without effort, trust me. And then also, if you guys don't know, I also do makeup too, like on the side. I don't need to really advertise it anymore because I don't have time to book it anymore. So there's a lot of Saturdays where I'm like makeup artist and then driving straight to do buyer tours. It's, you know, so I was working like 100 hours a week for a while. I'm not even kidding. It was crazy. So anyway, but definitely putting in the effort up front in the beginning is the whole plan and goal, is to not have to work as hard down the road, you know. So definitely expect to put in a lot of work, really a lot in the beginning, and learn as much as you possibly can from whoever will even talk to you and give you the second to teach you something. So and then I again try to spend at least an hour a day having conversations with people about real estate, and try to make it as organic as possible. I am a salesperson, but not trying to always sound super salesy is also kind of how I try to do it. So but I think at the end of the day, you just have to do what works for you. Like, I know I've said social media like 75 times during this conversation, but I don't know if that's going to work for everybody else. It's just what works for me. But you can apply those same kind of principles of consistency and branding and those kinds of things to whatever you decide to do for your marketing and lead generating and all that kind of stuff. But that's just kind of what I do. But I think that if you're just consistent with it, you're going to see results no matter what. And it might take a little bit longer, but consistency is key in anything that you do. So, I don't know what time it is.
It's 11:30.
It's only 11:30, so.
But I just have a quick question about your posting. Do you use an app where you schedule it all in the beginning of the week and it'll send it, or do you do it post it yourself each time?
So if you see it posted at 8 a.m. on the dot, that's always when I so my husband's really good with this stuff too. So he says 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. is the best time to post. He knows a lot about technology, so I always listen to him. But Yeah, so normally if it's posted at like 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., I've set it up, but I post through Facebook. So you can post through command, but I feel like there might be a way you can do to Instagram too, but I have an Instagram too, and Facebook you can post to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. So
Okay.
that's how I do it, and I just schedule them. But
Through
sometimes
Facebook you can
through
schedule it?
Facebook, your business page.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Sometimes if I feel like it's a very heartwarming, heartfelt post that I might typically post on my own, like on my regular page, I'll just copy and paste it from, as opposed to sharing it from my business page, like to my regular page as opposed to sharing it. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times not saying you don't get engagement if you share, but I feel like a lot of times you get more engagement if you post it just directly to your individual page too. So I'll kind of just go there. I don't know. That's just what I think. Especially if it's something with like a buyer or a seller like under contract or sold or whatever, or just settled, a lot of times will just copy and paste it over. Yeah, I can show you how to do that on your Facebook if you need help.
Yeah, definitely, thank you.
Courtney, when you run a Facebook ad, are you doing that through command? Or are you doing it strictly like through either HomeSnap or Facebook?
So the paid ads?
Yeah.
The paid ads, I've done all of them through command. Yeah, because in that way you can, it'll go directly into your database,
Exactly.
the leads. But a lot of times, even when you pick up the phone, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to see what it was, so I just put my information in there. Or they'll put in fake information.
Yeah.
So, but every once in a while you'll get, like I have gotten a couple people that I was like starting to work with and stuff like that. But I don't know that I have yet gotten somebody that I've like a buyer that I've like got under, none of the buyers that I've gotten under contract are from that. But I haven't spent that much money on that either. So it's still like, if I look at how much I've spent on it total, if I get one person.
Yeah.
And then again, people are still gonna see it. So you're still getting your name out there, you know? So it's not that, you know, I don't know. Just, I would find like a listing in here that you know is gonna be something popular, if it's like a good price and it's nice looking, and ask that agent, do you mind if I do a paid ad and share it and then try to get some leads from it? You know, or if you're gonna do an open house there, do a paid ad for it, you know. But it obviously ask the agent permission for that too. That's a little different than just sharing it, because you're like lead generating, in my opinion. You're lead generating from it. But yeah, always keep an eye on what our office listings are too, because most of the time those agents are gonna want you to share the listings because they want it to sell quickly, you know. Especially in this market, it's like your listing sets for like 8 days. You're like, what did I do wrong? You know. So, does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, let's open it up. Yes, it's great information. So
How do you find the best way to stay organized, like when you have maybe a couple listings and a couple buyers, like on a daily basis, how do you manage to schedule your time?
Well, my Google Calendar definitely keeps me on track. And then I'm on Sam's team, so she had helped me, like she has a couple checklists. Well, I think that we have them too, like once you're under contract, I will keep an eye on that and make sure that those dates are in my calendar and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then my emails, I don't know, I use that also as a way to stay organized. Like if I haven't answered it yet, you know, star it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But just like daily tasks, honestly, it's just a lot of lists that I'll make. Like I'm always like, I have a running to-do list in my phone that I use because I'm like, I have too many, I can't handle all these paper lists, so I'll keep this to-do list in my phone. I have it going right now, but of things that I need to do, and like if it's really important, I'll usually just put it at the top. But it's not really an exact science. I just try to.
So since you mentioned lists, and since you know, I teach a lot of QL and a lot about the 80-20 rule. You know, the difference between a to-do list and your 20%. So do you structure what you call your to-do list with the most important items first? And then, because we all can write a list of 20 things we have to do today.
Yeah.
But we know in order to grow the business, in order to run the business, this top four items. So they're, even if one of those are my least favorite, I have to do that first. Do you follow that mantra?
Yeah, definitely. Because honestly, like even your life to-do list half the time, how many days do you look at that and you're like, you your mind probably even works like that. You're like, I absolutely have to do these things today, but you know, these are also things that I have to, like, I can't forget that I have to do, and they end up getting carried over and carried over and carried over, you know. So yeah, I 100% do that. Yeah, because you're not going to be able. I mean, you have to fit in your life somewhere too. Like I stopped like going to the gym for a while, and I was like, what am I doing? You guys know I'm crazy, and I love working out. So I was like, there was like a couple of weeks where I stopped working out, and Leanne Sullivan was just like had a pep talk with me, and she was like, that needs to be your non-negotiable. Like you have to make it a non-negotiable. So every time I think about skipping the gym, Leanne's voice is in my head. I'm like, she's right. I gotta go because it makes me happy and it keeps me sane. So you know, you have to make time for those things, definitely.
Awesome.
So, and I try to put my phone in my purse when I'm there and not even look at it because for some reason that hour when I'm at the gym, I swear to God, it's the only time my phone rings all day. It really is. I'm like, oh, I'll be sitting there in front of my phone all day and it won't even go off. But does anybody else have any questions? No?
You sure?
About anything?
I'm sure I do, I just can't think of
Yeah.
one right now. I'm sure I have all the questions.
Well, how long were you in business before you got that first client?
Well, I got really lucky. So my friends wanted to sell their house, and before I even got my license, they were like, "We're going to use you." And I mean, that was my Norwood listing in the beginning. I don't know if anybody remembers.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that was really nice. And honestly, like in my mind, I'm like a little bit like, wow, like they're really putting their faith in me. Like I really need to make sure that I did not mess this up.
Mhm.
But I mean, you know, I have my coach. Everybody has their coach, and you know, you really rely on that help in the beginning. And don't feel like the number one thing you need to do is make sure you ask questions because like. It's so easy to be like, oh, I've been doing this for this long, I should know that answer, and or I've already been to that training, I should know this answer, and then you can really mess something up. So you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something for, you might forget. Honestly, you can go to school and it doesn't prepare you for
Real life.
No.
anything. I mean, not anything, but the stuff I remember, like, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, how do I not remember those different roof types from, you know, like, Poly School of Real Estate, but that's not the stuff you use every day, right? And then stuff you do use every day, you're like, wow, I really wish I learned that, and,
Right.
you know? I try to be on, like, almost every single, like, Breakfast with Your Broker with Dominic and Christina because you learn so much from that. Anytime I'm unsure or like I'm about to go into something that I know is like kind of a sensitive thing, I call Dominic and he's always like a resource and he's great and he's always like, thank you so much for calling me about that or let me know how it goes. Like you don't even realize like who's there for you until they're there for you. Like the Carezzi girls,
Oh yeah.
oh my God, like all of them. They're just anytime you ask them a question, they go above and beyond answer it. Like they have, and you know they're all so busy. Like every one of them are just a fantastic resource. So, or even like I've had to call the ALC on duty before, and they've all been great. I mean, I don't know what any other office is like because I haven't joined another one. But if I went to another one and it wasn't like this, I'd be pretty upset. I'll tell you that. I'd be like, Keller Williams Media did it, you know? Yeah. But anyway, so we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot, and I think that in like this world that we're in where there's like all this technology and everyone's fearing about like Zillow and this and that could possibly like take the agent out of the equation. You just have to even more so now than ever remember, you know, why you're awesome and why somebody should want to work with you. And then when you get them as your client, remind them, like, you know, live up to your word and really take care of them and be available to them and be nice to them. And if it's emotional, you might have to be there like emotionally for them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that kind of stuff like truly sets you apart. I think my hospitality background really helped me with this. And I think that whatever career you're in before real estate, there's something that you can pull from that, right? That you can bring that'll make you stand apart. I mean, whatever, like if you're in healthcare, right? You're in healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just left on Friday then.
Oh,
Yeah.
But that
No, there is
compassion and
plenty.
care for people is big, you know, and not everybody is compassionate, I don't think, you know, in any, you know, business. So if you can add that to your portfolio, you know, that's something you can add that makes you stand apart, great, use it, sell it, you know. I try to be like I'm kind of like nerdy and like I'll do TikToks and stuff like that, which I don't think that's everybody's cup
I
of
don't
tea.
view that as nerdy.
No. I don't know, like I do like those things, and I'll like I'm not like embarrassing myself, but you know what I mean, like it's just goofy, and
with you,
I-
not at you.
it's memorable, hopefully, but it's memorable.
Okay.
It's memorable,
Yeah.
right? So make people remember you and make them realize, like, when they work with you, they made the right decision. My one listing, like, literally, like, every time he, like, texts me, he's like, you're the best. Or, I'm so happy I met you. And it just makes you feel
Yeah,
good
that's
when you're
so
helping
nice.
people, you know? Like, and that's gonna happen to you too. Like, if you're not already working with a client already that loves you, like, just make sure you take really great care of these people, especially these original people, because they're gonna write reviews and they're gonna tell everybody how great you were.
That's a question. Do you ask all your clients for reviews?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then do you do it to say, hey, would you write me a review? Or do you give them something to fill out? I mean, how do you handle the reviews?
I email them, basically just saying, I hope my service exceeded all of your expectations. Thank you so much for trusting me. And then I say, 5 minutes or 1 minute of your time would mean the world to me. And then I give them the links. And I kind of put them in the order that I want them to fill them out. Not really, like, so that way if they at least get to Google, like, Google's the one that I want first.
Okay,
So, does everybody have a Google page?
no,
Yeah, you should make a Google page.
okay.
Where do you get the links for them, for the, customers?
So when you make your Google page, if your Google, everybody has Gmail, so there's a my business section of that. You're gonna have to set up, and then they're gonna mail, it kind of takes a little bit. They're gonna mail you a postcard here, and then you have, with a code on it, and then you have to get the code and put it back in, and then it'll go active. But I mean, I had my husband and like people I know leave me some reviews in the beginning just to bump it up, but then I also have some organic ones too, but because I wanted to be able to, I was so excited, I wanted to be able to type my name in, like Courtney Dampman Realtor, in Google, and for me to pop up, and it does. So, but that takes a while too, so don't feel like, don't get defeated. It'll take a couple of months, and it'll take a couple of reviews and stuff like that, and some searches. And then I also have a Realtor.com link and a Facebook link. I don't know if I have Zillow on there. I don't know. 4 might be overkill, but I don't know. I might have.
Is your Facebook link to your business?
My Facebook business page, yeah. So when you go to your pages and wherever somebody leaves a review, you would just copy and paste that link. But then there's a way you can change the link to just say like one word or what you want it to say. So you can make create a hyperlink. So somebody needs that. You can call me if you ever need help with something like that.
Matt probably could. We might get Matt to do a class.
Oh yeah,
You know?
Matt Curry, tech director. He's always like, "You're trying to take my job."
Yeah.
So, if you get a lead, which is not really hot right now, but maybe later down the road, how do you like reach out to them, keep touching them? What's
So
the best way?
I'll normally almost like a quarterly call plan, reach out to them every couple of months. I'll set them up to reach out and just be like, hey, how are you? Just want to let you know I'm thinking about you, that kind of thing. So
I'm going to interrupt you. Now, I want you to know what the operative word here? Call. It's quarterly call. It's call. Just wanted to get that.
yeah, I can't. I'm just being honest. I don't really text them or call them, but
Okay, then we're recording it. You couldn't have my back on
I'm
this.
sorry. No, but I do think phone calls are really important. I do. I really do.
I think
I've said that.
once a quarter. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you have to call people every single day. But, at the very least, if these are people you're nurturing, once a quarter, you should pick up the phone just to say, how are you?
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah. Normally, I mean, if I don't get an answer, normally I will try to call them. If they don't answer my text or something, I mean, I will normally call them. But
So do you have them all on smart plans, or do you just
so I
have like lists to say, call so-and-so on March 23rd?
So I used to work, this isn't the Keller Williams way.
It's okay.
Okay. So I used to work with like a sales product kind of Salesforce. So
I
like,
love sales.
yeah, so what we would do is set reminders for ourselves like in advance, and then like that's how we would follow up. So I think I'm just in that habit right now, so I need to get better. I don't have an actual quarterly call
So
smart
can-
plan.
can
I'll
I-
just set it 3 months from now,
Yeah.
and then 3 months from that, you know.
And in command, you do have tasks
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
you
That's what I
could-
use, yeah, the
Yeah,
tasks.
you just, put 10 people down for, on this particular day, you're gonna call or text or however you're
Right.
gonna reach out to them. The next day, the next 10. So, because, remember, you could have 200 people or more in your database. If they're just sitting there, it's just a phone book. It's not a database. So you absolutely wanna be reaching out to everyone in a systematic way, whether it's a combination of calls, texts, emails,
Right.
social media, et cetera.
We do have, or I do like on holidays, I'll send out I'll actually make a command ad that I'll use on social media, and then I'll take that exact command ad and put it into an email and send it to my database. It's another way to reach out, and I've had people reply to that, like, Merry Christmas to you, or not Merry Christmas yet, but you know what I mean, like holidays, they've like replied to that, which I think is nice, because I'm like, oh, they actually like the email, so, and then you can use, I think everybody gets a Mailchimp account when you sign up. That is crazy. It shows you like how many people clicked it, how many people opened it, how many people unsubscribed from it. And that's how like me and Sam do a quarterly newsletter that we send out, and that's how we send it out through there. It works out nicely. It's a little bit confusing at first, but there's a YouTube video for literally everything. So if you don't feel defeated if you want to do something, don't feel like you can't do it. Just there's always a way to figure it out. Like if it's a YouTube video or just relying on somebody or anybody, there's always a way to figure that out. Anybody have any other questions?
This is more personal, but how do you get yourself to stay like motivated and focused from working at home? Because I like can't seem to do that. I'm like with my dog, I'll start cleaning. I like have to be here to start actually working.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I honestly don't know. I mean, at the beginning it was really hard, to be honest with you, because I'm so used to working in an office setting. I don't know. I think it almost worked out better for me because in my office setting, everybody always wanted to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I just kind of put my like little music on in the background and just stay in the zone. I mean, I have my goals and I have things that I have to get done, and I just try to get them done, And then also like if there's like things, if you're like I don't even know what to do with myself today, do some training, because like I try to do that too. I try to sign up for trainings like I joined the Keller Young Professionals Network, so I sign up for those trainings in the beginning of the month, and I put them on my calendar, and I try to make sure that I'm getting onto them, or like breakfast with your broker, that kind of stuff. But it's also important. I did make myself like a time blocking schedule, but it's a work in progress of like basically trying to make sure like all of your tasks that you have to get done, like at all, put them on your calendar as like a thing to get done. Like if you're tracking your mileage, if you're tracking your expenses, if you're scanning your receipts, or whatever it is that you're doing, like that kind of stuff, so that you don't forget. I even put like it was so good. I really have to start like you make these systems right, and the rest of the battle is actually implementing them,
exactly.
which is hard. But yeah, or read a book. Put an hour in for that. Like it's bettering yourself. It's bettering your business. So it should be. Put those part of your workday. How to stay motivated? I don't really have that answer except for your big why.
Yeah, exactly where I was gonna go with that.
Yeah.
That's the key, because, so much of what we do really is repetitious, when you come right down to it. Whether it's phone calls, social media, texting, the lead generation, it's the same process. And it can be challenging, it can be mundane. Some people love the mundane because they know, well, the more I do this, the sooner I'm going to get great business. Other people, it's I just don't know. So you always have to go back to, why am I doing this? Why am I here? And it's not just money, but remember, money is only good for what it can do for you and for others in your life. So I'm doing this so my son doesn't have college debt. I'm doing this so I can buy the vacation home, or I'm doing this so I can buy my first home. I'm doing this so I can pay off my own student debt. Whatever it is, I'm doing this so I can donate X amount of dollars to my pet cause. I want to end food insecurity in the entire state of Pennsylvania. It's going to take money. Whatever it is, you have to always go back to that. And a trick that you might want to do is actually write down your big why and put it right above your computer. So when you get a little frustrated, remember, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this because I'm admitting something that I used to do. I haven't done this for about a decade. But approximately 12 years ago, my son started watching The Simpsons and I would watch it with him. It's embarrassing that I would even say I never watched The Simpsons. But there was an episode with Homer Simpson who was going to quit his job, and then he found out that his Marge was pregnant with the baby and he had to go back to this horrible job. And above his little workstation, he basically had, I don't remember the exact word, it was like pictures over a big sign that was there. And the sign was probably something very negative. But the way the pictures covered up some of the letters, what you saw was, I'm doing this for her, meaning the baby. And, you know, that was from The Simpsons, for my goodness sake. But that's what you need. What's your big why? Yeah. So, then talk to me.
No, I know.
Yeah. I mean, how would like, you know, once you feel like you're on your way there, like to me, it's like, how is it gonna make me feel, you know? Like, I think that you just have to go into it every day and kind of give yourself positive affirmations in the morning, because
You do.
it's so hard.
It
Yeah.
works.
It
Yeah,
really is
absolutely.
hard. Yeah, I feel like it was a Pat Gilday that said that the one day. She like drives here every day and she's like, I'm the best real estate agent in Delaware County. And everybody wants to work with me. I love hearing people talk like that. I think that's amazing. I'm like,
I would walk into a listing appointment saying, I am so excited, these people are going to love my marketing plan, and they're going to hire me on the spot, and I'm gonna get this job.
yeah.
And it was so funny, because on those rare occasions I didn't get the listing, I'm like, what's wrong with them? But it's true, when you wake up in the morning, you know, whether it's at home, whether you're driving to work, you know, you have to be positive, you have to be motivated. I'm going to get an appointment today. I can't wait to get into the office, make some phone calls, send some texts, reach out to people. I'm going to have an appointment before 5 o'clock today. This is so exciting. Just believe it.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing too, if somebody sends you any kind of like a referral, just make sure you send them a handwritten thank you note in the mail. That thing speaks volumes, because how exciting is it? I mean, I get excited when I get handwritten notes. Like Anne Marie sent me a couple of handwritten notes, and I'm like, oh God, like how sweet. I just think it's like a lost art. So and people will definitely remember that. So I have like, I always try to send out some handwritten notes for like different reasons, and I have some I have to get to on my to-do list, but you know, don't forget, like, I've been actually, it's bad I've been putting them off, but you have to make sure, like, those kinds of things really are important. Go walk around your neighborhood with, write yourself a little heartwarming letter that talks about you, but then spins it back into, like, how you want to bring that to help your community. And, I mean, now that COVID, not that it's over, but things have calmed down a little bit, you know, maybe even, you know, knock on some doors. A lot of times people will just see you coming up the door and they'll come to the door. And then you don't have to make it like the super elaborate pitch. You can just be like, hey, I'm an agent in this area. I live around here too, so I live and work here, and I wanted to go around and introduce myself. And if you ever need a vendor referral or have a question about anything real estate related, like please don't hesitate to reach out. You know, that kind of thing. So, but just who knows what you might get from that. I actually got somebody on my street from one of those letters that I did, so that was in the very beginning, so.
What are some ahas? We only have a couple minutes left, so let's get some ahas. There was some great information there.
So many.
Pick one aha.
Well, I know you always say this, but consistency is key, and that it shows that you get results, so I just gotta be more consistent.
I think the Google Calendar thing to stay organized, I think we'll do that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Sam, for that. Because at first she's like, you need to put your personal stuff on your work calendar. I was like, no, that is separate. But then I was like, oh wait, no, it is not. So, yes, one calendar for
Or
sure.
one person.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I liked your point about, in command copying the ads that you've made and then just changing the content so
Yeah.
that your branding is the same
Yeah.
all throughout everything. I
Yeah.
thought that was amazing.
And
Yeah.
the advertisements also one structure and different kind of words in
Yeah.
kind of advertisements, but it has one structure.
Right.
Yeah, one photo and the same.
Yeah.
So I want to ask one question of this group, slightly different. I mean, I just asked for ahas. What I want to know is maybe one thing you are going to implement immediately based on this session.
Kelly.
Calendar, okay? Okay. Bob?
Yes.
Facebook.
Need a
20
Facebook.
business cards to 20 friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
kind
your core advocates.
Yeah.
They're the people that have your back.
Yeah, and it's cute because they all like have them. Well, I gave them each a couple, but I'll go to their houses. They're on their fridges because they're all proud. So yeah, and then people go in their house and they see their fridge and they're like, oh, Courtney's a real estate agent. You know, so you never know anything.
No, never.
I even have that little. Well, no one's asked me yet, but I'm waiting. That hat that says "Homegirl" on it. You know, I'm like.
So cute.
I mean, but Don Baldino wears her name tag everywhere. You know, you just never know. You really don't know. So.
Courtney, I've been seeing my sister since COVID. She's in Connecticut. I seen her this weekend coming there. She's like, "You're really killing it with real estate." I'm like, "Who, me?" She says, "I've been watching you, everything you're doing," and I'm like to myself, "I should be having more things in." So that's giving you more incentive to put things out there on Facebook or.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
didn't you just have your best year?
No,
Yeah.
but that's a good thing.
You've been doing the ads and you did that the community event, right?
Community event, it was
Yeah.
really good.
That's
But
Yeah, good job.
That's what it is. You gotta get behind.
Yep.
You're your worst enemy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're your worst enemy.
You gotta
every
get out
time-
of your head.
Yeah, every time you do something like that, that's an opportunity to remind people that you're in real estate. Be like, oh, like, come out to this great community event today, and then you can post something else and be like, thanks so much for everybody that came out to this event. It was, you know. So anything. Like, even that Home Snap award thing that everybody got, I mean, I was like, this is a free marketing. And I even said in the post, I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody gets this, but I don't care. And still everybody was like, congratulations. I was like, you know what? That's fine. Congrats. Yeah, so, or like when the office shares, like when we were Best of Delco, you know?
Yep.
It makes you look good because you're affiliated with the office, you know? So. Thank you guys for listening to me.
Courtney, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me
Go guys, congrats.